Hi, I'm Ashwin. I work for a company called InMobi based out of Bangalore. We are a mobile ad network, the second largest in the world after Google. I head up the develop platform initiatives at InMobi, and what we try to do is build products for developers to solve problems across all the stages of their app. The problem of app discovery is something that's big, and it's here to stay for some time. And the reason is because the barrier to making an app is very low. So there are always going to be 500,000 apps, 1 million apps, 2 million apps, and in the next 18 months there are going to be a lot more apps coming up. What we are actually trying to do at InMobi is we are very, very aware of this problem. So we are trying to start offering solutions and products which will help tackle this. And there are a few ways we are looking at it. So one is we are obviously having our ad network to be more tuned, so you can advertise on it and get more downloads. We are also launching a few free-to-use services which we believe will help discovery get better for your apps. So some examples around how do you do cross-promotion. So let's say you have one app which has got 100,000 users and you're launching your next app. How do you leverage the 100,000 users that you have on the first app to get your next 20, 30, 40,000 users on the second app? We are also building a platform which will let you as a developer publish your app to multiple stores. And this is something that's a big problem on the Android ecosystem because there are more than one stores which are relevant to you as a developer. And that's something that we believe will help Android developers get to hundreds of stores potentially, including carrier controlled ones. So there are broadly two ways that monetization seems to be working right now. So one is obviously ad funded, so which is simply put someone else is paying for your app other than the user. So this could be a Coke, it could be a Pepsi, it could be an auto company, it could be another app developer who is trying to use that impression to get another download. The second way is you monetize by making money right off the user. And that's again broadly two ways. You could charge upfront to download the app, or you could charge for usage within the app for premium features. Personally, we think both of these models are here to stay, especially the in-app purchase model and the ad-funded model. Both of them are going to grow pretty big. And the challenge that developers are going to face is how do they balance the two? Because a lot of developers set out saying, I do not want ads in my app, or I don't think I can make money from in-app, and I'm going to be purely ad-funded. And the most successful companies or app developers are ones who are able to acknowledge that both of these are models that they need to stick with, and they figure out the right balance between using both of them. And that's something that I think is going to be the next wave of growth for app developers. So there are a few things that I think are going to be very interesting for entrepreneurs specifically from India, right? So one is the barrier to being global is really, really small if you're building an app, especially if it's a geo-generic app, so be a game, which is language independent. So the barrier to getting global is really small because the toughest problem, which is distributing it globally, has already been tackled by the app stores themselves and the ad networks. So you don't have to physically go to every single country to launch your product. There are no taxation laws, there are no legal issues, or not many legal issues, let's put it that way. So a lot of these are taken care of. So you should look at global. The second important thing for Indian entrepreneurs is how do you make the mobile internet and the app ecosystem more relevant for people beyond the English web. So the English web as we know it is going to stop at about 150 million users. We are almost there. So the next wave of users that you need to attract are people who are not going to be dependent on English as the only language to use your app. And that's where I think touch sensitive screens, visual elements that are being offered from all these smartphones are going to be really, really useful. So you need to figure out a way to tap in on those type of audiences and get those people to use your app. I think that's going to be really, really powerful. So I think that those are the two big things, global as well as being relevant for Indian users beyond the English web. I would say, so if you're looking to raise money, right, so the first thing is, and I'm not talking about angel funding, if you're really talking about growth fund or Series A, Series B type of investments, I think you need to have an idea that you believe in very strongly and you can show initial user traction. So if you get your first 100,000 users, that's a great initial user traction. And I think the way to look at this problem is not to say monetization is a problem. How do I get $10 million for me to raise money or get acquired? I don't think that's the way you should look at it. The way you should look at it is, how do I get my first 10 million customers? How do I get my first 100 million customers? Because that's what attracts people to put money in. There are very few companies that you can find which have got 10 million users but have not made money. It's very, very few. When we say developers don't make money, what we're really saying is they have not figured out a way to get the first 10,000 users or first 100,000 or a million. So focus on the user, get your users first, and I think money will flow, whether it's revenue or investment will just be a matter of time, and it's going to follow you.